TK-12th grade enrollment. What we'll do is we'll share information to you all regarding enrollment. And we have a couple of presenters today to speak as well. And so with that, we're excited that you're here, and this is a way to prepare for next year. So one way that you participate with our participants is through sending messages via the chat, and either Ms. Maria Barragan, Ms. Christy Kagstrom, or myself will be able to respond to some of those questions you might have. This meeting is being offered in Spanish and Russian interpretation at the moment. Our Arabic interpreter has not logged into the meeting. I'm not sure what happened. We're recording this meeting as well, and oh, I don't think we need closed captioning at the moment, I believe. But if you do, please request it and we'll enable it as well. Here's the agenda that we have for today, or welcome and introductions, registration and enrollment, what programs your child might qualify, and I see some of them have already asked regarding ages and what programs they qualify for. We'll cover that as well. What happens in case as far as some support services for students, immunizations, which is a really important part, Aries Online enrollment application demonstration, and then just thank you for logging in. So with that, I am Heriberto Soto. I'm here today from Family Community Engagement. We've been the ones in hosting these variety of different sessions, and we have two individuals here from Student Services, and I'd like them for them to introduce themselves. So I guess I'll go with Ms. Kagstrom, and then we'll proceed on to Ms. Maria, and then we'll start with the meeting.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're glad that you're here joining us today to talk about enrollment for next school year. My name is Christy Kagstrom. I'm the coordinator for health services. So I oversee the school nurses, our health offices, our health assistants, and all the work they do with students and families.
And my name is Maria. I work for Student Services, assisting the families with transfers and any assistance that they might need when they come to the district office regarding paperwork or enrollment or questions that they might have.
And we also have Ms. Robin Ewing eventually logging into our meeting as well. And if there is ever any questions you have, please contact the Student Services Department line at 916-566-1620. They're open from Monday to Fridays from 7:30 to 4:30, and they will be a point in contact when it comes to summer, especially as the offices are closed, and they'll be taking the lead when it comes to helping with enrollment. One of the things that we want to share with you all is that a lot of the information that we send, that we prepare for enrollment, you could access that information via the enrollment website. If you received text messages today regarding this meeting, you got a message with the link included in it. It gives information regarding what is required for registration. It talks about different programs when it comes to TK. It comes as well regarding how to complete the online enrollment application. And all the information that you'll be able to find is readily available within this website that we've created to help our families when it comes to enrolling for the next school year or this current school year. So with that, I believe it's going to be Miss Maria, and then I'm going to put myself on mute.
Okay, so the enrollment online is a pretty easy step-by-step walkthrough for enrollment. The first step would be when you log in into the Twin Rivers District website and the enrollment application, you'll find this Find Your School locator, which will be able to give you information on what school your children belong based on your address and grade level for TK through 12th grade students. And then you can see the link below. There says website. So there's the website link where you can go and click on it also, and it will take you directly to the Find School location. Okay, our second step is the actual enrollment application, where you would be able to enroll your children. The application will consist on requesting proof of residency, proof of age, which could be a birth certificate just to show the age of the child, and the immunizations also as well. The other things that parents would be able to also attach is if it applies, if the student has an IEP, that would be needed for the attachment to make sure that the student gets placed in the correct program for the services they need. And also if there's any applicable core documents for custodies or restraining orders, that kind of stuff, it would need to be attached also as well to the enrollment. The health examination and also the oral assessment could be turned into the school site. After you have completed this, they'll give you some time to be able to get that done if you don't have it available at that point in time in the enrollment. Next. Okay, and this one, it's when you log into the enrollment application, which is step 3 that Heriberto showed at the beginning. It shows this information on the left-hand side, which it goes over the information of the enrollment, the collected information, which is also what we just described in the previous page. It also explains a little bit about the process and about how long it would take you to complete the application. Depending on how many students you have, it might take you longer than 20-30 minutes, but if you do have more than one child, certain information already gets recorded, like your address, contacts. So you would just need your new child's demographic information, like birthday, date of birth, and those kind of things. Make sure that when you're doing the enrollment online, you select the correct year. We still have families that come into our district right now at this point in time. So make sure that when you're doing the enrollment, is either for 21-22 school year or for 22-23, because that makes a big difference on whether the office also gets the information as soon as possible and for them to contact you as far as getting the child enrolled for this current school year or pre-enrolling the child for the following year. Okay, and that's only, you would only need to create you would only need to create another account if you haven't done it before. Otherwise, you can always just sign in or log in into the account, and it would, again, when you log in, it will automatically already populate certain information like your address and contacts, and you would add only any additional children that have never been enrolled in our district, or they're coming in new to our district that we don't have access to any of the records. Aries Online Enrollment is the enrollment application. It's a new, and it's TK-12th grade students into our district. Twin Rivers preschool students will need to enroll for the 22-23 school year, and their contact information is further down, and it's also 916-566-1616 whenever you would like to reach that department. The programs that your child will qualify based on the information here for the 22-23 school year. So if you, for preschool or Head Start, if your student are turning 3 years of age on September 1st, 2022 or before. So that's, they qualify for preschool or Head Start, okay? So it's if they're turning 3 by that point in time or before, prior. Transitional kindergarten is any children that for the 22-23 school year turn 5 years of age between September of this year, which is September 22 to February 2nd, 22-23, okay? And then kindergarteners, obviously it's any children that turn 5 prior to September of this year. So if your child is turning 5 prior to this September coming up, they do qualify already for kindergarten. Okay, next slide. And then preschool and Head Start, again, this is the information the ECE programs offer in our district from the preschool department. Our half-day preschool, which is usually 3 hours, full-day state preschool, that's for usually for parents that are working or studying. Full-day state preschool as well, which is a similar program. Infant toddlers for parents that have children under 3 years of old. They just gotta meet the requirements. And then Head Start preschool and early Head Start. And the right-hand side on the sticky, you'll see the contact information that I mentioned prior, which is the 566-1660 number and the link to the preschool department directly. Next slide.
And we do want to also say too that appointments are happening now for preschool, state preschool for next year by calling and making an appointment, and they'll start taking either virtual or in person starting on the 18th. And the Head Start programs have mentioned that they'll be providing the application starting on April 25th for next year. And those you have to contact the Head Start programs. One of the things that we wanted to also mention too is that transitional kindergarten has been changing. And so in this case, they're expanding the ages for students who qualify for transitional kindergarten for next year. So in this case, if your children are turning 5 years of age between September 2nd and February 2nd, they could qualify for TK or transitional kindergarten. So in this case, this is the first year of a 2-year program where they would be participating in transitional kindergarten, and then they will participate in kindergarten the following year. As you can see here, every year will expand. So students who then qualify for TK, let's say for the 23-24 school year, then they could qualify between those months of September and April 2nd, as an example. TK is also expanding into actually 22 different elementary school sites. And the only ones that are not available are Babcock, CCAA, Fairbanks, Frontier, Hillsdale, Fairview, and Westside. So for those families that, let's say, their home address qualifies for Babcock, then they would be sent to their closest school, which in this case would be Northwood, for example, because they have a transitional kindergarten program. And then their second year, when they qualify for kindergarten, would return back, in this case, for Babcock, as an example. We also want to let many of our families know that there is also the dual language immersion programs. These are where students are able to learn half the time in English and half the time in Spanish. It's reading and writing and speaking in both languages half the time, in math and sciences and all the different subjects. These are offered at Madison Elementary School and at Las Palmas Elementary School. We also want to let you know too that dual language immersion programs are expanding next year too. So next year, 7th grade will be offered at MLK, and this will be a great opportunity for many of our families who would like to maybe have their kids participate and get enriching in both languages and build up the skills in both. This is something that is, really shown. Studies have shown that students excel when when they participate in dual language immersion programs, and they are bicultural, bilingual, and it prepares them for the next couple of years as well. And then with that,
Okay.
I'll let Miss Ewing speak.
We're going to be talking about overflow procedures. An overflow student is one in grades K through 8 for whom there's no room in a student's residence school at the time when they register. Actions are taken when class sizes exceed limits that are affected by the class size, funding, or contractual obligations. And based on first come, first served practices, we try to place the overflow students in a school that's close and that could accommodate the student. We work with families if siblings need to stay together. The next slide. A McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Act. We do have families that are in a homeless situation. Their children lack of fixed, regular, adequate nighttime residence. And this applies to children as an accompanied youth or sharing housing of other persons, those living in motels, shelters, campsites, and transitional housing. We provide immediate enrollment support, school supplies, bus passes, clothing, hygiene kits, and more for those students that qualify for the McKinney-Vento. For more information, you'll see on this page, you can contact Child Welfare and Attendance at the following webpage, or you can call them directly and they'll be more than happy to help. Next slide.
And then we do want to say just really quickly for
Sure.
families, in order to receive those services, they need to be starting on day one at school. That's what I've heard, right? Is that correct, Miss Ewing?
I know they need to be enrolled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly how soon it starts,
Okay.
but we'll have to ask Child Welfare and Attendance for that information. Okay, under our next slide is foster youth services. It says, who are we? We are a specialized program within Student Services Department dedicated to enhancing our educational outcomes and academic achievement for students living in foster care, group homes, or other related relative caregivers. Services for foster youth include immediate enrollment, assistance with school stability, tutoring referrals, assistance with school supplies, federal state programs that a county administered to current and foster youth. The goal of the ILP is to provide youth with resources and skills for successful transition to independence. We do have two wonderful ladies, Maria Salgado and Anitra McMillan, who are our foster youth counselors. And if you need to reach them, they're more than happy to assist you. And you will see on the screen their phone numbers as well as their email addresses.
So I will continue talking about the health requirements to start school. And we're going to start with the kindergarten requirements for immunization. And this actually is a summary of all immunization requirements for kindergarten through 12th grade. So to start kindergarten, students need this list of vaccines, with the exception of the gray bubble and below, which is the extras that are required at 7th grade. Your doctors, your providers will likely already be given all these, and most students, by the time they reach kindergarten, there is another round of shots just before starting kindergarten. So if your student has not seen the doctor in over a year prior to starting kindergarten, they likely do need that round of kindergarten shots, right? So we will need a verification of those immunizations, and that can be your yellow card. It can be a printout from your doctor. We can also help you find some of those in certain cases if you're not able to locate them. This is some of the resources that are available to you and some that we even use to help you with immunization support. There's a website called Shots for School, and it is the premier website for immunizations for school. It's for parents, it's for schools, and it's for medical providers. It's one stop. So this is where you can get the best and most up-to-date information about immunizations for schools. So we use it as a resource, and we direct parents to use it as a resource too. There's a lot of free vaccine clinics around that can help with that. Obviously, your first stop is your regular provider, but if you haven't established a regular provider, or you're new to the area and you need assistance with that, every school has a health office, a school nurse assigned, and other health staff at the office. We would be happy to help you with that. We can help families who don't have health insurance yet. We can help families who have insurance but don't have a provider, would like help with that. Or we can help families that are just having trouble getting an appointment to get those immunizations because they really want to get their kids started. We have a lot of resources. We have some clinics, a mobile van that's in our district. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So please, if you're having trouble, we never want immunizations to delay your child starting school. So we are very proactive. We have a lot of events in the summer to help with this. And again, if you're having trouble just accessing care, getting care, we would love to help you with that. So remember that I mentioned that we have some resources in our district to help families with both vaccines and other healthcare needs. One of those is a mobile health van that's in our district every Tuesday and every Thursday. Every Tuesday it's at Norwood Junior High, and every Thursday it's at Madison Elementary. And on those days, 2 vans come to the school, one medical van and one dental van. And we serve many students there every Tuesday and Thursday. This is someplace that we can help with immunizations or other health concerns. If your child is ill and you don't have a doctor that you can get into right away, they may be able to help. Also, they provide dental care, especially if your child has not had a dental visit yet. This is a great place to start. Again, as I mentioned, we would love to help you with accessing dental care. And if you need if you need healthcare insurance, we definitely want to make sure that every family has healthcare insurance so that they can access a doctor and a dentist for all of their children. Another thing that schools are making sure that we have on site are any health needs that your student may have. If your student has asthma, for example, and you feel and your doctor feels that they need an inhaler at school, we will absolutely do that. There's a form for that. Any medications at school require a form. All these forms are on the website. And this is something that our school nurses, our health officers are happy to help you with. And so I just wanted to mention that all these kinds of needs, students, if they need an inhaler at home, often need something at school. If they've got a medication that they take every lunchtime, well, then at lunchtime at school, they may need it too, and we'll help you to set those things up. I want to just, do I have another slide, Alberto, or was this my last slide?
It is the last one.
Okay, I do want to just back up a little bit and mention, and I saw a question in the chat about kindergarten enrollment. There are 2 special forms and 2 special exams that we ask people to do for kindergarten, the kindergarten physical and the kindergarten oral health exam. Those of you who have students in preschool have likely already had to do that, which is great. Sometimes that will be able to be accepted, and sometimes we'll need a new one. Just depends on the time frame. For dental, the oral health report within 12 months of starting kindergarten. It is a specific form though. It's not just that they've been to the dentist, it's an actual form that we ask the dentist to fill out. Sometimes you can just, if they've just been to the dentist a couple months ago, many dentists would just fill that out if you just send it to them and ask them if they've recently seen your child. Doesn't always mean you have to go back in, right? The same with the physicals. The rule on physicals, it's a little different rule. It's within 18 months of starting 1st grade. So really usually within 6 months of starting kindergarten. Again, if your student was seen at the doctor 7 months ago, oftentimes if you just send that form to the doctor, ask them to fill it out for kindergarten, they will feel that they've seen your student recently enough to do so. So anyway, if you have questions about that, the health officers at every school site are happy to help.
And thank you, Ms. Kagstrom.
Thank you.
We want to say that for many of our families, as you typically try to figure out what school or how to go as far as enrollment, we are going to do a little demonstration of the website itself. So in this case, Aries Online Enrollment is the new way as far as families can enroll. It is different from what is called Aries Parent Portal. Aries Parent Portal is how families can view attendance grades of their students who are already actively enrolled in school and in the classrooms. Aries Online Enrollment is the application to create an account to enroll your students. And so if I would click this, for example, the link itself, it would, I'm going to actually share a different website, just so it's a little, so I'm going to share the Twin Rivers website. Do we all see the website?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to hear. And so this right here is the district website. And one of the just images that we see here on the banner is many of our families ask about spring break. Right here, ready to enroll. So when I would click here, as Ms. Maria had mentioned before, around how to find your school, what are the requirements, and how to enroll. So when you click on this, how to enroll, it would take you to the application itself. And at the moment, it's only available in English and Spanish. And it tells you the different steps as far as what is required. And you would need to create an account. And then you would need to validate that account as well. So once you create an account, it will send you an email. And then you have to click on that email and say that's you as a parent trying to create an account for your child or your student. So in this case, this is what it looks like once you log in. So for example, it will definitely ask you information around your student, right? Like what the phone number is, what their race, ethnicity, whether they're born in the United States or not. From there, it will ask you information regarding language. So typically, this is one of the ways where, if you remember the home language survey that was asked, what language was spoken at home, what language is spoken between the children. This is where you would identify, for example, the information, and then this will help as far as identifying whether our students are English learners and to provide the services that are needed to ensure that they obviously, become proficient in English when they start school. One of the other information that you see here is actually for the parents. So typically, it'll ask you, in this case, for this parent named Twin Rivers, it asks you for their email address, as far as your level of education, whether they live with you, address, phone number, work number, and it will ask for both parent, guardian 1 and 2. And this is really important to have and filled out as much information as possible in case of emergencies or in case they need to contact somebody. These are for both parents and guardians with information. Okay. In case there's a situation where there's a court order against somebody, this will, ask you who that person is and who could the student not be released to, for example, and then you would upload those documents if you have those documents as well. And I'm just going with each of the different steps. That way we have this information for you all to look at and just go over briefly. Then we have our medical information. In this case, be useful to have as far as medical provider, as far as doctor, and providing that information as well. One of the other things too is emergency contacts. So in case if there's a need to contact somebody for an emergency, we have in this case the person you would need to put in the information for at least one contact with a phone number and the contact information as well. Then you will have, in this case, the health survey. Typically, it will ask whether the child has any medical conditions or any allergies. You would be able to add that information. And in the document section, there's an area where you could upload those documents regarding if they have certain allergies. And that way, the school district, in this case, health services, and our health assistants and nurses are able to help your child depending on the different medical conditions that are needed. We have then our immunization information. I've seen some families typically sometimes type in individually every vaccine, every shot that they had, but it'll remind you too, like uploading a copy of the immunization records electronically can help. And in this way, in the document section, there's a way where you could upload either an image or a photo, and then you could probably put that information as well to verify the proof of immunizations that are required by the state of California. In some cases, some of our students have been going to school in a different school district. Let's say, for example, San Juan or Natomas. In this case, it'll ask you whether those students were enrolled previously in a different school. This way, we'll be able to help gather information and find out more information regarding transcripts, documents, IEPs, documents that will help regarding the education of your child, and with the school district to reach out to those individuals. It also asks you whether the student was born, in the United States or, in this case, outside of the country as well. And then you're able to fill out the information here. Our recommendation is always is to try to fulfill as much information as possible. That way, it helps us locate those student records for your child, especially if they're in ninth to 12th grade, if they're high school, as far as collecting those information regarding the transcripts, for example, and the units that they have.
And that's very crucial. I just wanted to mention because that way this new school also that takes on with the student, as far in our district, they don't duplicate the same classes. So if they already took like an art class or an English class, or that way they know whether the student actually received the credits or not. And that way also, again, they don't give the student the same classes that they don't need. So that they can actually give the student the classes that are required for the student to graduate based on the grade level.
Thank you, Ms. Maria. These are the documents. Typically, what it will say is that you clicked on and you acknowledge the fact that you read regarding the technology use. So students get a Chromebook, and that this says that the students have the agreement that they'll use it adequately. Information regarding forms that are available for your to use in the future in case if needed. Um, those you just it gives it the fact that the district provided that information for you to review. And as Ms. Maria had mentioned, the document uploads, there's an area right here where it will ask you to upload the immunization records right here, uh, proof of address, birth certificate, and then this is sort of what Ms. Maria had mentioned, where the uploading transcripts or grades that they've taken, as far as also IEP documents or for special education. This will help with special education to ensure that your student, are receiving the special education services that they need as well.
As far as the uploading the documents, I always mention to parents that if you're doing it in a computer, try to do as much as you can. But when you get to this point, it would be a lot easier for you to try to log in through your phone, and it will take you to this last page where you left off. You can screenshot a nice picture of the immunizations, and it would be really easy to attach it. The same with the birth certificate or the proof of address as well. That'll make it a lot easier for you to attach it through your phone. And then again, you can still continue back in the computer to continue the rest of the information.
Okay. And then I'm going to go, typically then it'll ask you questions regarding if your child is currently, have housing, permanent housing. This helps our child welfare and attendants identify whether services are needed to support your child. And then also whether or not they're receiving any foster youth services. This is something that Ms. Ewing had talked about earlier in the meeting, for around services that are provided. In this case, if you're living with a family, let's say, with your parents, because there's an economic issue because you can't afford living as a family unit separately, in this case, you'll be considered temporarily doubled up, and then you'll be able to select that, and then it would notify the school and or the district the fact that you might be needing additional services, or we might help you when it comes to the enrollment process, um, with the McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Act. Then we have our resident survey, as far as similar information, asking whether or not, if you qualify for additional services because of a state of homelessness, or if you and your family are unhoused. And then typically it'll ask you whether or not you served in the military as well. And then what happens afterwards is sort of you save and return. This is sort of me like finishing up the application totally. And then from there, I mean, this will be sort of what the information that tells you, right? It's a summary. Here's the school that is assigned to me based on my address. Here's the confirmation number based on what information I have completed. This is for example, the next school year. And then it goes breaks down all the information, and at the end you would submit it. In this case, I'm not going to submit it because this student doesn't exist.
The other
So
thing that I'm sorry, Irvin.
yeah, go
The other
ahead.
thing that I wanted to mention regarding this also, if you do end up getting to complete the application, that enrollment number that Heriberto mentioned on the top is very important, because that way you can contact the school that's mentioned above also as well in a few days to check in on the status of the enrollment. So you would contact the school. That one gives you, see, it gives you the school name, the phone number, and then you let them know, my name is, X person. I finished the enrollment on my child 3 days ago, for example. My child's name is this name, last name, date of birth, and my enrollment number or ID is called right there. Is this number, the one mentioned right there. And I would like to check the status of the enrollment. So you guys are welcome to check in with the school in a few days, especially if it's for the current school year that you're enrolling. That way, the school will follow up with you regarding when you can start, and also give you additional information of what the next steps are.
I'd like to make a comment as well. As you're going through filling out all the application here, there may be a moment where you have to step away from your computer. Maybe your child is crying and you have to go take care of the child. Nothing's lost. If it happens to log out, you just go right back in and go to login, not into a new student, but you just go right into login, log yourself in, and it picks it up right where you left off. So you don't lose anything. So I know it's very frustrating if you did lose everything, because you got to start all over. But with this program, it just picks right up where you left off. It's about 30 minutes, I would say, at least for the first student, 20 to 30 minutes to complete this application.
I do want to point out that if your child already did the enrollment online, you don't have to do it every year. It's automatic as long as they're between TK and 12th grade, not preschool. That doesn't include preschool. I just want to make that clear. So any child that you have done this already from TK to 12th grade, you don't have to do it every year. It automatically rolls to the home school of resident, or if you were in some kind of type of permit, for example, an open enrollment, the student will still continue at the school that you got approved for. So this would be only, again, for brand new students coming into our district, whether they're for TK kindergarten, or if they were not enrolled in our district at all ever, and you want to enroll them now with us, or you just moved into the area.
Okay. And so if there's any questions that we have for families, one of the ways to start preparing is looking through the website, visiting the district website as far as when it comes to information around summer school, regarding Aries Parent Portal, regarding what's happening in social media. This is one ways or various ways where families are shared with information for the upcoming school year. And then in this case, this is what we recommend. If you have questions, you can contact our Student Services Department, especially during the summertime. During the school year, obviously, all of our school offices are open, so there'll be another point of contact regarding helping our families out.